Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making this Pokeman Ball. Always a fan favorite. So let's get started. So we're going to start with white. I am just using what I generally use. I turn my yarn into cakes with my little spinner, but these actually come in great big ginormous balls you can buy at Walmart. Red Heart Super Saver, worsted weight, the best stuff to work with. So great big balls at Walmart for 10 bucks if they have stock right now, because being in the middle of a pandemic there doesn't seem to be much of anything. We use a 4.5 millimeter hook. There is no letter associated with this. There's a 5 that you can use, which is an H, and there is a 4 you can use, which I think is a G, but there's not an actual letter for 4.5. So hopefully you have regular needles and not old school needles, because really the letters are just old school. It's old school. It doesn't, not too many people work with those these days. So we're going to make a magic ring, and you put 8 single crochets into that magic ring. Pull tight. We're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch. There's no chaining, there's no slip stitching. We're gonna rock this out amigurumi style. So after your first stitch, you're gonna put in your stitch marker, and then you're gonna put your second stitch in that hole, and then you're gonna proceed with 2 stitches in each hole all the way around back to your marker, which should give you a total of 16 stitches. It may seem squishy, but that's how we get the nice round shape. So just pull your middle tight before we proceed. And we're going to increase one right after another. So this row will be 1 single crochet and an increase. So that's your 1 single crochet with your stitch marker. And your increase is going to be 2 single crochets in that next hole. Whoops. Next stitch is going to be 2. So that's your... Oh, I just did 2, didn't I? Next stitch will be 1. The next stitch will be 2. So it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's what it does. So at the end of this you should have 24 stitches. So because we started off with a single crochet of 8, every row is going to increase by 8. That's how you know what your numbers are going to be. So you should end your sequence at your stitch marker. You have to count my stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 2, 4. Yeah, I knew I did something wrong, so here I had to go 1, 1, 2, because I knew that I had done something wrong. So I got 24 stitches, that's all that counts. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. So that's your first one, your stitch marker. That's your second single crochet. So this next one gets your increase, which is 2 single crochets in each, or in the stitch. Then your repeat, 1, 1, 2, all the way around. So when you come back to the marker, you should have 32 stitches. So your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. This is our last increase. That's number 1. Three single crochets and then your increase. And repeat. So at the end of this, you should have 40 stitches. So for the next 7 rows, this is where I'm going to leave you. For the next 7 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So I'll put my pause screen up and I will meet you back here after you've done your 7 rows of 1 single crochets in each stitch around. And then we're going to switch to black at that point. So I will see you on the other side. Okay, so I am done my 7 rows, so it should look like this. So we're going to switch to black, and we're only going to do black for a couple of rows. So there's a number of ways that you can do this. You can do just a loop. So you just make a loop. You go into your next stitch, you grab it, you pull through, you complete the stitch. So then you pull down on everything, and you're good to go with doing your thing. Or you can make a slip knot and go in, put the slip knot on to the end, pull through. So there's a couple of ideas anyway. So we are going to do, just make sure you pull everything tight, including the white. We're going to do 2 rows of just single crochets in each stitch, and you're going to weave in your ends because it's secure, it's cleaner, and you know that it's not going to come apart. So as awkward as it might be, once you start doing it for a while, you will get used to weaving in your ends like this. So, and you don't have to go that far with the white. We're never going to go back to, we're not going back to the white. So you can cut that right off as far, if once you think you're far enough. I usually like to go halfway around, but that's just me. You don't have to go that far. So you're going to do 2 rounds of the black, 2 rows, or 2 rounds of 1 single crochet in each stitch. And then when we come back, we're going to switch to the red, and then we're going to do 7 rows of the red. So I'm just going to snip my white off here, and that's all done. So 2 rounds of this, and I will meet you back on the other side. Alright, so I'm done my 2 rows of black. So we're going to switch to the red. So again, I'm just going to make a loop. You can also just kind of hold it here. You know, like you would for a normal stitch. Make sure you pull that black nice and tight though, it pulls everything down. There's another way you can do it. So we're just sticking with this single crochets in each stitch around. So you can go ahead and do your 7 rows out of 7, or we're going to say 7 rows of 7 rows of single crochet in each stitch around, easy peasy. And then I will meet you back after to do the decreases. Okie dokie, so I got my 7 rows done. We could probably start putting some stuffing in this bad boy. So there is a little bit of an art to keeping it round. You got to push all the stuffing out like this, and then stick the stuffing in the middle and push it out. So I'll just do that until it's full. You also want to pull your stuffing apart so you don't get bunching. But I'm not really here to teach you how to stuff stuff. But these are just my suggestions. You can do it however you want. Just some things I've learned along the way. So you do certainly want to make sure it's round. So for now, that's probably good. We're going to start closing up the head. The head. You know what I mean. So we're going to start with 3 single crochets and a decrease. So that's 1 with your marker. Ow. That's number 2, number 3. And then your decrease. You're going to go in and grab some yarn and pull through. Do nothing. Go into your next stitch, grab some yarn, pull through. You got 3 loops. You're going to come through all 3 of those loops. That's the decrease. So you'll also see it written as single crochet 2 tog, and it means the same thing because you're single crocheting 2 together. So 3 single crochets and then 2 together all the way around, and at the end of it you should have 32 stitches. So I will meet you on the other side. Alrighty, so your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and 2 together. So at the end of it you should have 24 stitches. We're just doing the exact same thing we did on the other side to keep everything even. So that's 2. 1, 2, and 2 together. Repeat this all the way around. 1, 2 single crochets and a decrease, and I'll meet you back on the other side. Okie dokie. So our next round is going to be 1 single crochet and a decrease. So at the end of this you should have 16 stitches. So So this is your 1 single crochet, and then you go right into a decrease. 1 single crochet and a decrease. So you can do this all the way around, and I will meet you on the other side. So your next round is going to be to decrease 8 times, and then you're just going to sew the rest shut. But I need some more, a little bit more stuffing before I actually do that. So you can go right into this hole, and you can fasten off. Leave enough for sewing and for weaving. So you're just going to go in this guy and out that guy. Now I'm showing you with a red needle, probably not smart. So you're going to go in this guy and out that guy. In this guy. And you're only going to 1 piece of yarn out that guy. So you're going to do it around till you come back around to your knot, which I'm at. That's my knot right there. So I'm just going to go in the 1. And then you're just going to pull it shut. Just like that. So pull it snug, and then we're just going to come over and make a stitch just for added snugness. And then you can weave your end in so it doesn't go anywhere. I got all this stuffing I pulled out, so we can just weave your end in the red backwards and forwards, and if you come in close enough to the tail, it's just going to look like a stitch. So this is your, well, your lead. So if you go in close enough, it's just going to look like a stitch when you pull it. So 3 different directions, that's what they say for, I'll go back up that way. That's what they say for weaving, is 3 different directions, and that way it gets all confused and doesn't know which way to turn. So we're going to make this part, that's the last of it, and right here where we did our color change, that's where we're going to sew it so it's not noticeable. So you're going to need your black and your white. So we're going to make a magic ring, magic circle. Oh, that was tight. Now you put 6 single crochets into that ring. Hold tight. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in each of these stitches, so you'll have 12 when you're done. Now I'm just going to count to 12 instead of using my stitch marker. That is 12. I'm going to switch to the black. So switch to your black, and we're going to do an increase row right off the hop. So make sure you pull your white tight so that pulls that black right down like your loop. So you're going to have to weave in your colors. So we got our 1 single crochet, and our next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets for our increase. I like to wind it all together. Your next stitch is going to be 1. Your next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets. If I go through the whole entire stitch, that would be even better. Sorry, black is really hard to see. Slip stitch to this here, and that's just going to fill in that last spot, and then you can fasten off with enough to sew on this bad boy, and that is it for that middle piece. So you weave this guy in, you can snip him right off, and you're all set to go. There's no weaving. There's none of that nonsense. You can just sew it on. So we are going to be putting some stuffing behind this. Just to bring it out a little bit. You don't have to. It'll be very flat. So hopefully my battery doesn't die before. My battery's blinking right now. So hopefully it doesn't die before I get this done. Get my stuffing out now. I don't know how much I'll need. That's probably more than enough. So find your spot where you did your color change, because we're just going to cover that right up. We don't want to see any of that. I'm not a fan of that either. But so figure out where your center is, where the black is, and then you're just going to do invisible stitches. You're going to go down inside the doll, and you're going to come up. Down as close as you can to that thing, whatever that thing is, and you're going to come up into it. So your stitches get sucked underneath. Just make sure you're going down into the actual doll. So pull tight enough that stitches are getting sucked in underneath. I'll have to stuff it pretty soon. So you're just going to shove the tiniest little amount underneath there, just to give it that puffy feeling. So I'm just at the end. I've got another stitch to do, and then I'm just going to go down into the doll And I'm going to pop out here on the side. And I'm just going to tie a knot with whatever I have left. Cut that little bit off. Push that down into there. And there you have it. Our own little Pokemon doll. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.